Alright, and hello everyone, it is me, Jay Burns, and in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you all how to make this bracelet right here. This bracelet is my own original design, and this bracelet here is called the ICU bracelet. So, yeah, it's an interesting name for an interesting bracelet, I would say. And here's just another example. So as you can see, you can use like skin tone bands. And yeah, so here's just one more example, and I'm going to be showing you how to make this bracelet on the loom. So you'll need just a regular loom, like a Rainbow Loom, a Crazy Loom, a Wonder Loom, any of those loom board type looms. You'll also need a hook. There will be a little bit of a hook only part in making this design, and that is when we go to make the eyelashes. So you will need a hook. You'll also need a clip to close off the bracelet when you finish. So any clip that's used for rubber band bracelets, it will work for this design. Then you will also need rubber bands, and there are 3 groups, and I'll explain what each group is. So the A group, the A bands, they are going to be the bands that are the single chain. So pretty much the entire single chain that you use to make your bracelet here. And as you can see here, for my A rubber bands, I'll be using a skin tone band, and then I also have these clear rubber bands. And if you're using a color other than clear for your single chain, so like here I have in this example, I have this brown, you're going to need to have some clear rubber bands as well for the part where it goes through the eyes like this, or else the bracelet won't look right. So you either need to use all clear bands or some at least clear bands for the eyes. Then these B rubber bands here are going to be all the bands involved with making the actual eyes. So these white bands that are the eyeballs, the brown in here, so the color part of your eyes, and then also the black dot in your eyes, which is the pupil. And yeah. Then the C rubber bands are going to be the eyelashes, which are the hook only part of this design. And that's pretty much it. So in the description I'll have the number of each type of band, and also the number of clear bands if you're making the bracelet with another color in it for your A color bands. So I'll have the number of each type of band you'll need in the description, and go ahead and use the pause button so you can get the supplies you'll need, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. Okay, so to make this bracelet, we're going to start with the arrows pointing towards us. So kind of like we're about to loom the bracelet, but we're not looming it, we're placing bands. Alright, and we're doing this because everyone uses a different number of rubber bands for their single chain, and so if you look down in the description for the number of bands, I said that you'll need however many bands you need to make yourself a single chain. And yeah, so actually we're going to go ahead and start with the arrows pointing away from us. That'll make it easier. Alright, so the arrow's pointing away from us. It's not pointing towards us anymore, so your loom should look something like that there. And we're going to go ahead and get all of our A color bands, and also the 4 clear rubber bands if you're using another color other than clear for your single chain. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to place a single chain of bands going down our loom. So we're going to start here in the middle, this first middle pin, and we're going to place our first A color band going out to the left. We're going to be doing a zigzag shape, or a zigzag pattern going down our loom. So you'll take another A color band and place it going inwards from that left pin to the middle. And making single chain is really easy, so all you gotta do is just continue that zigzag pattern going all the way down your loom. But we're not gonna go all the way down our loom. We're gonna use about half of our bands. We're gonna place a little bit less than half of our A color bands. And then we're going to stop. So just count out about half the bands you need, and then stop once you've placed that many. Alright, and there we go. So I've placed about half. Now, you actually do not need to do this if you're using all clear bands for your single chain. If you're using another color other than clear for your single chain, you would go ahead and you just place half the bands. And now you're going to get your clear bands. So you're going to take 2 of your clear bands and add them to your single chain now. Then you're going to get 2 more of your other bands and add them to your single chain. And then you're going to take your last 2 clear bands and add them to the single chain as well. And then once you place those clear bands and all that stuff, then you can go ahead and get the rest of your A color bands and add them to your single chain. Alright. So make sure you have 1 more A color band for your cap band when we go to loom. So make sure you still have one of those. And you can just put it to the side. We're not going to need it yet. And now we're going to go ahead and start making the eyes. Now, if you used 2 colors for your single chain, you're going to be placing your eye bands where you have these clear bands. So all the pins that a clear band is on, that's where you'll be stretching the eye band when we go to place them. Now, if you don't have 2 different colors for your single chain and you're just using clear, then you would just go around to the middle of where your single chain is on your loom, and you just place your eyes in a way similar to how I'm going to show you how to place them in just a second here. So first what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and place the inside parts of the eyes. So you're going to need 2 of the eye color and 2 for the pupil, which is the middle of the eye. So first we're going to place the pupil bands. And for those of you who are, or who have just a clear single chain, you're just going to need to find around the middle of where it is, of where your single chain is on your loom. And then you'll just pretty much do something similar to what I'm doing here. Alright, so anyway, for those of you who, oh, hello, cat's in here. So for those of you who have the clear bands and then the other color bands, you're going to find where your 2 clear bands are. So find 2 of your clear bands that are next to each other. And you're going to find the pin, you're going to put this pupil band on the pin where there are just clear bands. So if you look here on this pin, we have the other color and then we have a clear band. And then if you look here on this pin, we have a clear band and the other color. You need to find the pin that has only clear bands on it. So that one right there in the middle for me. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this band into a triple cap band. So to do this, I like to put the band on the pin that it's going to be on. So put it on that pin. You twist the band while it's on the pin, and that new shape you create that's not on the pin yet, you're going to put it on the pin as well. And now what you have is a regular cap band. We need to make this a triple cap band. So you can see there's just these two little layers here. You're going to grab one of them. You're going to twist it. Oh, and now I lost the cap band here. Hold on. There we go. You're going to twist it, and that new shape you create, you're going to put it onto the pin as well. Oh my goodness. Very difficult to do here on the middle pins. Anyway. Now once you've twisted it on for that second time, you should have 3 little layers on whichever pin you had to put that triple cap band on. Now we're going to do the same thing for the other clear bands that you have. And if you have all clear bands for your single chain, you're going to count 4 pins from the first little pupil band you placed on your loom. So, for those of you who only have clear bands on for your single chain, you're going to count from where you placed your first pupil, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And that 4th pin that you get to, that is where you're going to put the second pupil. So once again, we're going to make a triple cap band. Here we go, finally. And once you have those on, now we're going to place the iris bands. Or not the, well yeah, that's what these are. The colored parts of the eye. Now for these bands, we're just going to make them into regular cap bands. And to do this, you just take the band, you twist it into an A or infinity shape like so, fold it like a book back on top of itself, and now you have your cap band. And what we'll do is we'll place this cap band on the same pin that we have our pupil bands. Well, at least one of them. Like that. Then we'll take the other band, the other eye color band, and we'll do the same thing. We'll make it into a cap band. And we'll place this cap band here with the other eye or pupil we have here. And there we go. Alright, now we can make the actual eyes, or have the actual eyeballs on here. So, these white bands. Now as you can see here, with these bands, we also have the eyelashes on the actual little eyeball bands, which are these white ones. So, now we're going to get our eyelash bands and our eyeball bands. And you should have 4 of these eyeball bands. And we'll be using 2 for each eye. Alright, so you'll get your hook, and you'll take 2 of your eyeball bands, and you'll put them on your hook, just like this. Then, you're going to take one of your eyelash bands, put it on the actual part of your hook, like so. Slide these eyeball bands onto the new band, and then put the other end of this new band onto your hook as well. Then we'll take this end of this rubber band that's farther away from the actual part of our hook, so this side here. We're going to make this band into a slip knot, so we'll grab that end there, pull it off and over the hook, and then just give it a light little tug. Tighten it, just a little. Now, we're going to take the eyeball bands that we had on our hook before, we're going to take them and put them back on our hook, and we'll have something like this here. Now we're going to do it again. So we're going to get another eyelash band, put it on the actual part of our hook, and slide the eyeball band onto this new band. But instead of just sliding the eyeball bands, we're also going to take this eyelash band that we had on our hook before as well. So now you have something like that. And once you do... Oh wait, no we're not. Oops. Take that eyelash band off. Just put it back on your hook. Sorry about that. And then we're going to put the other end of the new eyelash band onto your hook as well. So you should actually have something like this. So the other eyelash band you had before, it should still be on your hook, and then the new eyelash band. Alright, this time, instead of just grabbing this one loop that's furthest away from the actual part of your hook, you're going to grab the two loops furthest away. So these two right here, you're going to grab both of those and pull them off and over your hook like that. Alright, now we're going to do it again. We're going to take the eyeball band, put it back on our hook, get another eyelash band, put it on the actual part of your hook like so, slide only the two eyeball bands onto the new band, and then put the other end of this new band onto your hook as well. Then, once again, we'll take the two little loops here, furthest away from the actual part of your hook, slide them off and over, and you might need to do a little adjusting because the bands are getting a little spread out. And now you have something like this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do this 3 more times. So we're going to add 3 more eyelash bands, and then I'm going to show you what to do with your completed eyeball. So go ahead and add 3 more eyelash bands to your eyeball band, and then I'll show you what to do next. Alright, so I have finished. If you need more time, just use the pause button. But now I'm going to show you how you're going to place your little eyeball band here. So go ahead and get your loom, and you'll want the arrow pointing away from you, like it has been this entire tutorial. And what we're going to do is we're going to place this eyeball band on your loom so that the eyelashes are sticking outwards on your loom. So what I mean by outwards is you place the eyeball on your loom so that the eyelashes are sticking away from your loom. So I'll go ahead and place the band on and I'll explain. So I've placed my eyeball band and the eyelashes are hanging off the outside of the loom. They're not here in the middle, in this middle area. They're outside. So that's how you're going to be placing your eyeball band. Now, you're going to be placing this eyeball band here so that it creates a triangle shape on your loom with the pin that has your pupil and the eye color band in the middle. So you'll be using 3 pins, and the pin with all the other eye stuff will be in the middle. So basically like this. Now make sure you keep that slip knot on your hook. So that little loop that was on your hook, make sure you keep it on your hook. And now I'm going to show you what to do with that. So with this little loop, you're just going to find the next open pin, so the pin that's closest to it, and that doesn't have, or well, just the pin that's closest to it, and it doesn't have an eyeball band on it. That's the pin you're just going to take that loop and put it on that pin. So now you have something like this here. Or you may have what I have, but backwards. So you have this loop here on the other side. But anyway, make sure you take note of how these slip knots look here on your eyeball band. As you can see, mine look like this, because when we go to place the second eyeball band with the eyelashes on it, we're going to make sure that they look similar. Alright, so now we're going to make the second eyeball with the eyelashes. So go ahead and get your 2 bands and then the other 6 eyelash bands. And we're going to make another eyeball. So, we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. If you need instructions for how to make the eyeball again, just go back to the time that I'll have listed in the description and watch that part again if you need to watch it. But I'm going to go ahead and make the second eyeball, and then I'll show you what to do once you've made that one. Use the pause button if you need to. Alright, so I've finished my second eyeball here. So if you need to use the pause button, go ahead. But now I'm going to show you what to do now. So I'm going to have my loom turned sideways so it's a little easier to show you. And so for those of us who have 2 colors for our single chain, we're going to find the 3 pins where we have our clear bands. So we're using 3 pins here on our loom, and the pins, or the pin with the rest of the eye parts, that will be the middle pin. So you need 3, and the one in the middle will be the one with the other eyes. And also make sure you place your eye band so that it looks like a triangle, so it's not going, doesn't look like this. So make sure your other eye band does not look like that. Alright, so you're basically going to do the exact same thing you did before, except you're going to do it for the other pupil and eye color bands here. Alright, so when you place this second eyeball band, make sure that the slip knots here on top, or the slip knots here on this one, look the same as the other eyeball bands. And basically what that means, if here's the other side. So as you can see here, this side, it kind of looks like there's little V's here on the eyeball band, and this one over here looks like there's just lines striping across the eyeball band. Those don't look the same, so you need to kind of turn the eyeball band around like this. And make sure the slip knots look the same on both sides. Then you'll do the same thing for this loop here that's on your hook. You'll just bring it to the next pin, next closest pin here. And they should both the eyeball bands should look exactly the same. Now once you've placed that stuff, now it's time to loom the bracelet. So turn your loom so that the arrow is pointing towards you now, and get that A color band that you had off to the side, and we're going to make it into a cap band and start looming. You'll also want to have your clip nearby as well. Alright, so you're going to take your A color band, turn it into a cap band, and place it on the first pin where your single chain starts. So for me, it's this middle pin right here. So that's where you'll put your cap band, wherever yours starts. You'll get your hook, and we're just going to loom this exactly like it's a single chain. So you pull back the cap band, grab that bottom band, and loom it to wherever it's coming from. Then once you're on that next pin, you'll pull back those top bands, grab the bottom band, and loom it to where it's coming from. And you'll keep doing this until you get to your eye bands, and then I'll explain what to do once you get to that point. So let's go ahead and loom your single chain. And I'm already here to my first little eye band, so if you need more time, go ahead and use the pause button. But anyway, whenever you get to the eye bands, the only difference is there's just more bands that you have to pull back. So you'll just have to pull back a few extra bands to grab that bottom band and loom it to where it's coming from. So same out here, you gotta pull back a few extra bands to grab the bottom band and loom it to where it's coming from. Once again, you gotta pull back a few extra bands to grab that bottom band. And just be a little careful when you get to the pupil and the eye color band pin, because there's a lot of extra bands, so you might need to pull a little slower, kind of work the band around the pin so that you can get it to where it needs to go. And yeah, so same for the next eye, you would do the same thing, just pull back a few extra bands to get to the bottom, and yeah, so just go ahead and finish looming your single chain. Alright, and so now I've finished. And now, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to take the bracelet off your loom. So if you still need more time, use the pause button. But anyway, we're going to take our hooks, and we're going to start taking the bracelet off our loom. Also have the clip nearby. So we're going to start here. We're going to start here at the beginning of our loom, where we started looming. And we're going to use our hook to pull the bands off each of the pins here. And some that's a little bit difficult with single chains, but when you get to the eye part, you'll definitely want to use your hook to pull off each pin of bands. And you'll just work your way up your loom until you get to the last middle pin. Do not take the bands off this last middle pin. You're going to need that pin. Or those bands. Alright, there we go. So as you can see here, I have my bracelet. Might need to do a little bit of adjusting, but we'll do that later. So you should have taken the bands off of every pin except for the last middle pin, and what you're going to do now is get your clip, and we're going to attach it to the bands on this pin. Now to make it a little easier, you can use your hook, go into that last middle pin, and stretch the bands out to another pin, like so. Then take your clip and attach it to those bands. And once the clip is on the bands, you can take the bands off your loom, and you won't need your loom anymore for the design. And then, what you're going to do is you'll probably want to do a little bit of adjusting Just get the cap band so that's around, surrounding the triple cap bands. And when you finish adjusting, you'll need to take the clip here on this end of your bracelet and attach it to the other end of your bracelet, which is this cap band here, the A color cap band. And now you can put your bracelet on. And bam! So now as you can see here, I am wearing my ICU bracelet, and now it's time for the outro. So, I would like to thank you for watching my tutorial. Hopefully it showed you how to make the ICU bracelet successfully. Hopefully now you have one, you're wearing it. I think it's kind of cool, and probably creepy a little bit, and yeah, now you're wearing it and all that fun stuff. So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say for this tutorial, other than thanks for watching, and bye!